Bonjour tout le monde, je suis Pamela Eastfeld, la présidente de l'APASE. I am very pleased to be able to congratulate the winners of 2021's Foreign Service Awards. Les 15 derniers mois ont été aussi difficiles pour le service extérieur que pour le monde entier. There's no denying that from the COVID-19 public health crisis and its especially devastating impact on diverse communities, psychological health, and small businesses around the world, to the continued threat of climate change and what we hope are turning points in the movements for racial and social justice, the past year and a half has transformed us all in ways we could not have anticipated. Tout le monde cherche des certitudes, mais elles sont très difficiles à trouver. PAFSO members have been working around the clock at missions abroad and at headquarters, at home and in their offices, to keep critical operations running and serve Canada and Canadians. Les lauréats de cette année témoignent de l'excellence du travail accompli au milieu de la pandémie. Their competence, compassion, and genuine care for each other, as well as for those they serve, showcase the best of our profession and its values, even under adverse circumstances. Grâce à des collègues comme ceux-là, le rôle et la contribution du service extérieur professionnel seront essentiels à ce qui sera notre prochaine normalité. On behalf of PAFSO and its members, I thank all the winners for exemplifying the best of what the Foreign Service can be and making us all proud. Merci beaucoup.
15 excellent nominations were received for this year's awards.
Dans l'ordre alphabétique, voici ceux et celles qui ont été nominés.
Tammy Lee Ames,
Stéphanie Bergeron,
Marceline Brulotte,
Catherine Churchill-Smith,
Patrick Courcelle,
Robin Crowder, Julie Drew-Watt,
Jennifer Hart, Francis Huot,
Liliane Kadour and Kimberly O'Reilly,
Dylan Kirk,
Marie-Claire Lemay,
Fidramoon Morris,
Henri Proulx,
Hélène Tremblay,
Bravo à tous les nominés des prix de la PAFSO 2021.
You inspire us all.
Les membres du jury qui ont eu la tâche difficile de choisir nos lauréats sont
Dr. Roland Paris,
Miss Anne Arnott,
Mr. Bill Crosby,
Madame Emmanuelle Latraverse, Monsieur Tom McDonald,
Ms. Meredith Preston McGee. Thank you to the esteemed judges panel for their hard work in choosing an exceptional group of 2021 awards recipients.
And now, to our winners.
This year, 4 awards recipients were chosen. Voici les lauréats en ordre alphabétique.
Stéphanie Bergeron. Stéphanie Bergeron en était à sa première affectation à l'étranger, à Bamako, au Mali, en tant qu'agent junior du service extérieur. Mais dès sa première année, elle a occupé un poste de niveau FS3 par intérim, gestionnaire du programme en politique étrangère et diplomatie. Au mois de mars, l'an dernier, Stéphanie a contribué à rapatrier une victime canadienne d'enlèvement. Puis, la mission a été forcée d'évacuer le personnel non essentiel à cause de la pandémie. Stéphanie a pris à elle seule le fardeau du travail de toute la section du service en travaillant souvent tard durant la nuit pour aider des Canadiens bloqués au Mali à quitter le pays. Au mois d'août, à peine 2 jours après le coup d'État militaire, on lui a demandé d'occuper le poste de chargé d'affaires du Canada en l'absence de l'ambassadeur. Pendant les 6 mois qui ont suivi, en dépit de l'incertitude politique et d'un conflit armé, elle a orienté et respecté les priorités du Canada, parfois au prix d'un risque personnel important. En étroite collaboration avec ses collègues, avec le personnel recruté sur place et avec la communauté diplomatique, elle a fourni des analyses politiques et des conseils opportuns au sujet de la crise reliée au coup d'État. De plus, elle a fait progresser les intérêts du Canada dans la région du point de vue consulaire, commercial, tout comme celui du développement. Pendant tout ce temps, elle est restée fortement engagée face à la sécurité du personnel qui retournait au travail. Il est rare, dans l'histoire du ministère, qu'une agente débutante ait occupé un poste supérieur dans des circonstances aussi difficiles. Stéphanie Bergeron a fait preuve de leadership admirable. Elle est une agente du service extérieur remarquable.
Serving as a political counselor at Canada's Embassy to Mali in Bamako, which is both a Hardship 5 posting and an active conflict zone. This PAFSO Award recipient met increasing responsibilities and several crises with exceptional commitment. Au Mali, l'expression populaire « on est ensemble » est en fait son style de leadership. Je suis ravie de présenter ce prix APASE à Stéphanie Bergeron.
C'est un honneur incroyable pour moi d'être ici aujourd'hui pour accepter le prix de la PAFSO. C'est une reconnaissance vraiment incroyable des 3 dernières années que j'ai passées à Bamako et c'est vraiment, ça me rend vraiment très émue. Je remercie le comité évidemment. Un grand merci à Tariq et son équipe, en particulier Yannick et Christine pour leur appui indéfectible dans les derniers mois. Je remercie également mon amie Sylvie qui a travaillé très fort à ma nomination et l'ambassadeur Louis Verret qui, il y a 3 ans, m'a appelé pour me suggérer d'appliquer à Bamako et puis ça a changé ma vie. Special thought for Ambassador Mike Elliott. Mike, this is for you. In the most challenging times of my time as chargé, I thought of you, what you would do in those circumstances, and it really kept me going. And this prize is for you. Je veux également remercier mes collègues de Bamako. On a passé 3 années incroyables ensemble. On a relevé des défis surréels dans un environnement vraiment particulier, vraiment difficile. Challenging at time, and I feel we did it together. Je suis vraiment très fière du travail qu'on a accompli ensemble, puis je vous remercie de votre appui, de votre confiance. I feel this year was extremely challenging for all of us, and being in a Hardship 5, I felt this year really hit in terms of next level challenge. I'm so proud of what we accomplished. I hope this year will help us identify as a department new ways that we can support our people in the field, especially in hardships, and ways we can underline and reward all of the sacrifice that employees make when they are posted to hardships, hardship fives, whether it is on their family's well-being, on their mental and physical health. And I dedicate part of this prize to all of you colleagues who were posted in hardship fives this year. I know how it was, and I know it was difficult, and I'm very proud of all we accomplished together, and that we stood together, we were resilient. Et pour moi, c'est vraiment ça le service extérieur, c'est de se dépasser, de travailler pour le meilleur et pour le pire, dans des conditions faciles et difficiles, pour faire avancer les intérêts des Canadiens et Canadiennes, les intérêts du Canada. Et je pense que c'est ça qu'on a réussi à faire ensemble cette année. Je suis tellement fière du travail que j'ai accompli, et je suis vraiment, vraiment honorée de ce prix aujourd'hui et de cette reconnaissance. Merci.
Robin Crowder. In a normal year, Robin Crowder's role as the manager of assignments for the Workforce Management Division at IRCC's International Network is demanding. It matches people to assignments, acting as the hub for the professional development and personal well-being of every person in an FS position. But this was no ordinary year. Starting in January with the first outbreak of COVID-19 in China, Robin was involved in the process of evacuating IRCC officers and their families. Everyone thought it would be temporary, lasting 4 to 6 weeks. Robin Crowder managed one of the most challenging and constantly changing situations possible. As the pandemic spiraled and urgent requests multiplied around the globe, her team listened, adapted, and offered solutions with every twist and turn. Throughout it all, her focus was on the safety of officers and their families. From email updates to personal calls and video conferences, Robin's often daily briefings kept everyone current, connected, and calm. And even when there were literally hundreds online, in a video call run from her basement, somehow she made every single person feel cared for and supported. She fielded complex questions about everything from extended families and kids' schooling to homes, careers, and colleagues. Her careful, empathic listening, and above all, her humanity and honesty inspired trust. For a manager who finds the right person for every job, Robin Crowder herself was the best match possible. Her compassion and kindness, her wisdom and reassuring care has been a phenomenal service to IRCC and to Canada.
In a year of exceptional efforts from so many, it would seem almost impossible to choose one individual for their outstanding contribution. Et pourtant, pour de nombreux agents de IRCC, une personne s'est distinguée par sa façon de rassurer et de faire preuve de bienveillance à travers la complexité de l'année passée. For many of us, that person is Robin Crowder. Congratulations, Robin, on receiving a 2021 PAFSO Award.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for this honor. I am so excited to be here talking to you today. I've actually had this acceptance speech prepared for years, and it's about time that you all acknowledged how fabulous I am. Just kidding. In fact, when I received the email telling me that I had been selected for this honor, I was shocked, like really shocked. It is one of the few times in my life where I have actually found myself without words. I always have words. Admittedly, they usually border on inappropriate, but I always have something to say. To hear that so many of my colleagues supported and participated in my nomination makes me feel all warm and fuzzy and just a little bit overwhelmed. When I joined the FS way back when, a decade ago, I knew I was getting a cool job. I didn't know that I was getting a way of life and a huge extended family. I am grateful for this job every day, but I am even more grateful for the people that it has allowed me to meet and to work with. Every year, the PAFSO Awards is an opportunity to share in the stories of the amazing things that Foreign Service officers are doing around the world. And these stories only barely scratch the surface of all the incredible work that takes place every day by our colleagues, both FS and Foreign Assignment Officer, behind the scenes or in the spotlight. There are so many stories that remain untold because we are a community of like-minded people constantly seeking to do better, to do more, to reach more people. It is our strength and our weakness. And we do it because we care, because we want to, not because we're expecting to get an award for it. And so, as much as you are choosing to single out myself and a few others for our efforts over this past year, it's not just me and it's not just them. Everyone I know has stepped up to help others through the pandemic, whether working long hours on repatriation flights, being the only one who stayed behind at mission for 6 months, being the person who managed to get any kind of work done while trapped in a hotel room with their entire family, or the colleague who reached out after a meeting where I looked particularly exhausted and kind of broken to just check in. As FS, especially for those of us in immigration, we are so fortunate because we get the opportunity to step up almost daily. The nature of our work is to make a difference in people's lives, to support them in difficult situations. It's what we do. We step up for others and for each other, our huge extended family. You have made a difference in more lives than you know, mine included. Since the beginning of this pandemic chaos, way back in January 2020, when we first heard the now infamous words, FST-64, I have thought that I am one of the fortunate ones. Like all of you, I've had the good, the bad, and the ugly. I have definitely been impacted by all of this, but I ultimately feel that many of those impacts have been positive. I am so lucky to have had no family members fall ill with COVID, knock on wood. I'm fortunate to have a home where I can physically separate myself from my kids to work, theoretically at least, and to have a backyard and a forest where we can go out and get fresh air. I am fortunate to have the means to care for my family and the technical ability to stay connected with people outside my bubble. I'm forever grateful to have a job that I love, that gives me a sense of purpose and allows me to contribute in a meaningful way. The pandemic has meant that I have gotten to know so many more of you, my colleagues, to share in your lives, and on occasion have been given the opportunity to help you. I've had a chance to grow my community, if only virtually for now, but I know that when the time is right, that virtual connection will be reinforced in person. COVID has given me an excuse to force my team into a virtual stress release dance party, and has allowed me to occasionally pretend that my VPN is cutting out when I've just had enough of a meeting. Overall, I am so fortunate to say that the pandemic has given me more than it has taken away. It's even given me back an hour of my day previously spent commuting, which I take full advantage of by sleeping for an extra 7 minutes and working for an extra 53. Now it's giving me this honor and the incredibly humbling feeling of knowing that no matter where I go in the world, no matter which office I work in, I will have a friend and someone who's got my back just as much as I've got theirs. It kind of feels like I'm winning the pandemic. So with that, I want to say a big thank you to everyone who got together to nominate me, to all of you who I am honored to work with on a daily basis, who inspire me and who put a smile on my face. Thank you to my assignments team who pulls together my half-baked ideas and tolerates my crazy on a daily basis. I have to admit that I'm a little bit disappointed to not be delivering these remarks in person, seeing your pretty faces and all your fancy party clothes. But in all honesty, it's probably better that you are a captive audience. This way I can just assume that you've been LOLing at all my jokes rather than the awkward silence that often follows them. Thank you to my spouse Namri for putting up with me every day, and to my little dudes Malcolm and Liam for your quality participation in so many of my virtual meetings. And of course, a big thank you to my good friends Netflix, Skip the Dishes, and the LCBO. I wouldn't have survived this pandemic without you. But in all seriousness, a huge and genuine thank you to everyone. I am so thrilled that you have chosen me for this honor.
Francis Huot. Francis Huot est un délégué commercial d'expérience. Ainsi, en arrivant en Nouvelle-Zélande, il a tout de suite noté une particularité dans ce marché. L'économie maori croissait plus rapidement qu'aucun autre secteur de l'économie du pays. Il aperçut un marché en croissance, mais également une façon de s'insérer dans le domaine sous-représenté des échanges directs entre indigènes. Pour les Maoris, le commerce efficace est fondé sur une relation de confiance. Francis a établi ces relations en misant sur l'opportunité réciproque et sur le commerce durable. Il est devenu la personne ressource au sein de la communauté d'affaires maori et du gouvernement néo-zélandais. Il a aidé à mettre sur pied une délégation canadienne de gens d'affaires indigènes au Forum mondial des entreprises autochtones, la première mission commerciale autochtone du Canada et l'occasion de tisser des liens avec plus de 550 dirigeants et entreprises. Francis a participé au lancement de IndigiX, un programme d'échange à l'intention des jeunes professionnels autochtones visant la création de réseaux politiques et commerciaux. D'ailleurs, les Hauts Commissariats du Canada et de la Nouvelle-Zélande soutiennent cette initiative du secteur privé. De concert avec le gouvernement néo-zélandais, Francis a accompagné une délégation de dirigeants commerciaux maoris à Vancouver à l'occasion du Forum mondial des entreprises autochtones, organisé par le Canada en 2019. Francis Huot s'avère un pionnier en matière de politique et de programme. Ses fondations solides et ses réseaux forts qu'il a construits perdureront bien après que Francis ait quitté son poste.
I often get to hear how the Trade Commissioner Service helps Canadian businesses succeed in global markets. This PAFSO Award recipient championed various initiatives to connect Indigenous-led businesses in Canada and New Zealand, resulting in meaningful relationships and concrete commercial successes. Ce faisant, il a contribué directement à rendre le commerce plus inclusif, une importante priorité gouvernementale, et à rendre encore plus profitables les avantages du commerce pour les peuples autochtones des deux pays. Je suis ravi de présenter ce Prix-APASE à Francis Huot.
Bonjour, hello, Kouei, kia ora. Merci beaucoup de cette flattante introduction. First off, I would like to wish everybody good health, especially in these challenging times. Je suis profondément honoré de cette nomination du prix annuel de la PAFSO. J'aimerais d'abord remercier toute mon équipe à Auckland, particulièrement Fabienne Bovis et Janet Clifford, avec qui je travaille depuis maintenant presque 4 ans. Merci beaucoup pour vos efforts et votre soutien. Those of you who know me probably know that I'm not usually the type of person that would be looking for personal recognition. I want to recognize the efforts from Tara Bickus, my colleague in Wellington, at the High Commission in Wellington, for putting constant pressure on me to agree to put in my nomination. So Tara, thank you very much for this. Finally, a heartfelt thank to my friends who supported this application. So Mario, Chris, Robert, Wayne, Cindy-Eve, Patrick, sincere thanks. Kia ora. I've been thinking a long time about what I wanted to say here, and the IT team putting this event together can attest to that with the with the fashionably late submission of this video. But I've been thinking about it a lot because I want to make sure that what I'm about to say has the appropriate effect. When I first came to New Zealand back in 2017, I thought it was going to be a good, like we say, lifestyle posting, right? But I realized quickly that there was a big part of the New Zealand economy that we historically ignored. Not because of policies or priority, it was just because. When I realized that the Maori economy was an integral part of the economic ecosystem of Aotearoa, with business activity, employment, assets across a wide range of industries, I thought it was an opportunity for us as the trade team to do more in that field. We did not have many Maori business contacts. We knew of a couple of, university professors, but that was about it. So as any good trade commissioner would do, I started to reach out. And all of this, all this network building, it all came much more useful when the first GAC-led Indigenous business delegation came to New Zealand back in 2018 to attend the World Indigenous Business Forum in Rotorua. But in the organization of this business mission, I was asked by my Maori interlocutor, so what does Canada want? Like, why are you asking a meeting with me? And my answer was always, well, let me go back to HQ, to my HQ, and we'll see what they say. It was, at the time, like dropping a rock into an empty well. No response whatsoever. We did not have official lines, official policies, official purpose with regard to Indigenous business in Canada. CERNAC, we're doing some stuff, some good stuff, but they're mostly focused on domestic issues, and there was not enough, to my view anyway, not enough international aspects about indigenous businesses in Canada. That's changing, and that's good. That's a good thing. But we can do more. I think we can do more, and we can do better. Each department in the government of Canada has an Indigenous champion. Do you know who it is at Global Affairs Canada? I had to look it up. I didn't know. AAFC has an ADM level ADM level official that occupies that function. There are monthly breakfasts with Government of Canada heads of department on Indigenous issues, monthly. Are we there? I don't know, but I would sure like to know and to see what's being discussed in those venues. As for the TCS, we have a team in place at GAC and in our regional offices to support Indigenous businesses. Again, that's good, but we can do much more. There are several successful Indigenous businesses in Canada active on the international stage, but do we know them well? Are we, we're starting to, and COVID is not helping, but we need to reach out a lot more. When's the last time a trade commissioner went to Chibougamau or Thunder Bay to discuss with Indigenous businesses, or even directly onto reserves? Perhaps it was the last couple of years, but that's not enough. We have to be there often. The department just not need an Indigenous champion, like I was saying before. We need Indigenous champions in the TCS, in our trade policy team, on our consular team, in our political team. One rotational FTE in a regional office looking at Indigenous affairs, clean tech, women in business, innovation, it won't work long term. You need to have a greater focus on this. We need to build trust, and to build trust, you need to be there to talk and listen, especially listen. In my interaction with the Indigenous people of Canada, New Zealand, other countries, I'm often asked, what's in it for you? Why do you say this? Why do you do this? I could say KPIs, but they won't care. But my answer is always, I want to help you build your business, but also grow as an individual. Therefore, I would like to challenge the department here to do more, better, and approach our interaction with an open mind and an open heart. A 1 hour online training won't do the trick. So get out, go out, ask for a meeting with the chief of Wendake or Squamish. And don't just send the junior officer. Take him or her with you. Do it in person if you can, and do it often. My time in New Zealand is coming to an end. We leave Aotearoa in a few months, but our hearts will be full of wonderful memories. You should come here when the borders reopen. It's been pretty good so far, but particularly filled with friendships that made our stay here particularly good, and friendships with my Maori brothers and sisters. Enfin, merci à ma famille qui me soutient depuis le début de cette aventure aux affaires étrangères, qui dure maintenant depuis plus de 17 ans. Au Canada, à Taïwan, à Guangzhou, à Phnom Penh, en Nouvelle-Zélande, et de nouveaux défis nous attendent d'ici quelques mois. Donc, Claude Annick, Vincent, Florence, merci d'être dans ma vie et de votre soutien inconditionnel. Merci, Thank you. Kia ora.
Phaedra Moon Morris. Phaedra Moon Morris has always made things happen, even when they're complex. In 2017, she began an assignment as head of aid at the High Commission of Canada in Bangladesh, prepared to manage development assistance. But within days of her arrival, 1 million Rohingya surged across the border from Myanmar, and Phaedra Moon had to quickly pivot. Adjusting to the exodus of people fleeing genocide, she became their ally in a humanitarian crisis. With her vast network spanning nations and countries, Phaedra Moon brought the right people together to create innovative solutions and to build consensus. She made recommendations not only in support of Ottawa's response to the crisis, but also to the foundation of Canada's 3-year strategy. This positioned Canada at the forefront of the international response. Phaedra Moon became the go-to person within the diplomatic community. Phaedra Moon has also shown a resounding commitment to international accountability and justice for the Rohingya through her efforts to support Gambia's case against Myanmar at the International Court. She personally ensured safe passage for refugee witnesses so they could testify at The Hague, and made sure that an RCMP investigative mission to document statements at the camps went ahead, all during the pandemic. Phaedra Moon Morris moves mountains, and sometimes the entire international community, in support of the world's most vulnerable people. She is truly deserving of this year's award.
I'm so pleased to introduce a recipient from International Development for this first year of recognition through the PAFSO Awards. And what an amazing recipient. I've had the luxury of meeting this recipient, seeing her and her team in action on the ground. Je peux juste partager avec vous mes impressions de son courage, son leadership, sa vision, son jugement. Please join me in congratulating Phaedra Moon Morris. Phaedra Moon, thank you so much for all the many results, actions, and effective interventions you and your team are making. You're really making a difference on the ground. Félicitations.
Red carpet, DACA style, so glam, getting ready, representing the international assistance stream, and yet I forgot my Birkenstocks. Am I ready?
You are, but don't you think you need to part your hair from sideways?
No. The millennials tell me I can't do that anymore.
Okay, then let's start.
Okay. Joking aside, this is an honor. Welcome. Salam alaikum. And we are looking over Dhaka, and this is the Coral slum of over 100,000 people within a 100-acre zone. We wanted to show you that while Dhaka, as one of the world's largest congested city, that when COVID started rolling out in Bangladesh over a year ago, and we got the estimates from Johns Hopkins that to expect 500,000 to 2 million deaths in our first 6 months, and with the world's most congested refugee camp of close to 1 million people, we could expect upwards of 100,000. We looked over this edge of the cliff and realized we were going to be in trouble. We, like the rest of missions around the world, started what could be considered the world's largest travel company for frightened Canadians trying to return to Canada, and at the same time bringing in humanitarian and co-workers such as our head of political, who knew that in this time of crisis they wanted to be here and part of that response. It was a time of fear, but also pride that we could actually contribute. You know, we all talk about and think about the cracks in amalgamation, but what I remember is walking down the hallway at 1 o'clock in the morning and my local staff member, who's development assistant, talking with Canadians on how they could safely get to Dhaka to get them in the airport. And then a doorway down, our head of trade using her magnificent negotiating skills with the airline to get humanitarian workers such as Médecins Sans Frontières into the country at the same time. I think it was one of those periods of the Foreign Service being at its best. We were able to be part of a response and in countries where we knew that our support was needed. I'm standing right now on the roof of BRAC, the world's largest NGO, that in the early months of COVID deployed 100,000 volunteers into communities all over Bangladesh to help provide services to those who are in most need, and as well as providing information on COVID, this disease that we knew so little about. We were part of that resource mobilization and we're part of the planning process. We work with organizations such as ICDDRB that are leading in how to respond on diseases of poverty, to adapt technology to access in communities such as the one here, Corral, and others in the world. Being able to lean in and with organizations such as these that actually have an impact in the global community is what really I find tremendous satisfaction and I'm grateful for. Representing Canada and being able to be involved in major programs in this response for the Rohingya refugee population and most definitely the ultra-poor in Bangladesh has been exhilarating, exhausting, rewarding, terrifying, and to be honest, I think we're all stretched pretty thin. When 75% of your CBS staff are evacuated, the work doubles, the concerns of your team are there, you wanting to provide morale, ensuring that it maintains, trying to build other networks, trying to piece together the international community's response. You realize we're in the ultramarathon, not the sprint. I've been asked to speak about my mentors and the people that have had an impact in my career, but this isn't about me. I'm here as a representative of a dynamic, amazing High Commission and as well a broader Government of Canada community. And so I know this sounds trite, but it wouldn't be not to. I actually think the opportunity to build these networks, be able to promote Canadian values abroad, and hopefully have an impact in the overall response that we're currently within is an honor and a privilege. When people on my team and in the greater teams we work with depart from this location, as with Afghanistan, I tell them this and I really mean it, is that people watch from afar. They watch news, they see things on talk shows about how challenging the world is, and they are mobilized because they don't know what to do and they don't know how they could do it. The Foreign Service allows us that entry point to lean in and have an impact, and we're able to do that, and that's amazing. And so let's ensure that we all support each other as a community, that can continue. Thank you very much, and thank you to all my colleagues who chose me to represent them today.
Thank you, and congratulations to the 2021 PAFSO Awards recipients, Stephanie, Robin, Francis, and Fidramoon. Thank you for your courage, leadership, professionalism, and perseverance.
Vous inspirez et honorez le service extérieur, et aujourd'hui, nous vous célébrons.
To cap off our awards ceremony, some final remarks from a friend of the PAFSO Awards.
I'm honored to help celebrate the 2021 PAFSO Award recipients and indeed to celebrate PAFSO itself. I've been privileged to work literally with generations of Canadians who serve on the front lines of Canada's presence in the world. One of your consistent strengths has been in responding to the unexpected, whether that is trouble, as is sadly so often the case now, or opportunity to proactively change things that don't work as well as they should. The PAFSO Awards honor individuals whose courage or insight or determination have made a notable and tangible difference. But the awards were conceived by foreign service officers themselves, in fact, at the time, by younger foreign service officers, precisely to reflect the reality that at our best, these instincts of innovation and courage and purpose are at the heart of Canada's foreign service and occur at all levels and in all forms of our international service, whether that challenge is in Mali or in Maori or inspired management or the simple determination to make things happen. This is a threatening time in the world, but we've met challenges before, and personal honors aside, these award recipients each exemplify and inspire the transforming contribution that Canadians can make. I'm proud to offer congratulations and wish you all well.